It's time to haul out. Hey crew, we have got some awesome shipyard videos coming for you. I filmed a ship ton while we were in the yard this past summer doing some pretty major projects on the boat. So all my boat project gurus, you've got some shipyard videos coming. And as many of you now know from our big announcement, Phillip and I will be completing our Atlantic Circle this year, helping to deliver a Lagoon 42 from France to the BVIs. Be sure to follow on our Facebook page so you can track our DeLorme posts and track us in real time across the pond. But for now, let's get hauled out, get down in the belly of our boat, and fix a problem that has been haunting us since our voyage to Cuba. That's right, our first project on the list this summer was reinforcement of our rudder post.
You go in there and you
Beer at 5 p.m.
give Brandon a hard time as part of it as well.
That's right, because we're in the shipyard now. That's bringing back so many memories. It's crazy. They're giving us a hell of a hard time. We can take it.
It was fucking sandwich time.
But why did we
All
pick
right,
That
sandwich
was just
time.
for shits and giggles. Oh.
Here we are, July 23rd, and we are headed to the shipyard. And while we have a good bit of work to do on our boat, we also had a good bit of work this year to do on Annie. I'll be honest, I was petrified of docking, and so a huge goal this year was to get me more comfortable at the helm. And if you haven't seen my first time de-docking, heck, I haven't seen that in a while either. Let's let that footage roll. Take it away, Video Annie.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, honey. I'm gonna hit. I'm about to hit. I'm hitting. Here we go. Oh. Ah. Oh my God. Oh, that was so close. Honey, I was like inches. Why was it so bad? What did I do wrong?
Before I had you put it in forward, we should have come back a little bit more.
Okay, great. That's so much fun. I can't wait to do that again. Yay. Boats are awesome. I can't barely breathe. Yeah, do that, ladies. It's great.
But I'm much better at it now. No more Video Annie freakouts, at least about docking. We're headed now to the fuel dock to pump out for the very last time because we are swapping to a compost and head. That's coming soon. And now we're off to the yard.
And don't make the mistake we made. Always put paper down when you go to the shipyard. It gets messy real fast.
And we were headed to the Pensacola shipyard to haul out with Brandon at Perdido Sailor. He is a longtime friend and exceptional boat maintenance and repairman, and he's the one we've always hauled out with. We've spent many hours with Brandon on our boat. Back in 2016, we did our re-rig and rebuilding our rod and stringers. He's definitely an expert we trust, and he's a lot of fun to work with.
Did y'all mark your rudder?
That Brandon, he's a smart one. He's asking us if we measured the height of our rudder post so he would know the additional height he would need to jack us up in order to drop it. Turns out we didn't, but it wasn't too bad. We only missed by a few inches. And while our bottom did look pretty good, we weren't happy with some thick buildup underneath the keel and other tough barnacles. Going forward, we really plan to get some equipment that will allow us to do our bottom once a month ourselves. All right, all hauled out. Now, for those of you who may not recall, this is what we were dealing with our rudder. This is on our way to Cuba in 2016.
Back, Annie was kicked back, we were relaxing, and Annie noticed that we had some movement over here that concerned us. This is our rudder, which is kind of important, they tell me. The rudder post there, and what was happening is that it's secured because we know we rebed this when we were at the shipyard.
We even got real crazy and jacked up the rudder so we could rebed the rudder post in the cockpit, as it was causing a pretty significant leak down in the engine room.
Get this guy rebedded. That's all butyl smashed out, so hopefully we stop that water leak.
So this piece right here is actually what holds our rudder up, and then there's just like that plate here that's bolted to the deck, and what was happening is the 3 screws that bolt that plate that the rudder sits on top of had become loose, even though they have lock washers. I don't know why, but what was happening is it was kind of rocking back and forth with the pressure on the rudder. So it could have just been over the course of the last 3 days of pretty decent heavy sailing that they vibrated loose. Maybe we didn't snug them up enough to begin with, I'm not sure. So anyway, we pulled everything out of the lazarettes. You can see our life raft and all of our stuff, and Annie got down here in the hole and she
Check your stuff.
tightened it up, and now there's no movement that we can see.
We also were still struggling with movement in the cap that holds our rudder post, so we decided to clean out the lazarettes, get down into the engine room basically, and add a second nut on the bolts.
Is there a washer before the lock washer? Like a big washer? There is?
Flat washer.
Okay, good.
That's what I keep watching, like, almost looks like it's pushing up into the floor. It scares me. I mean, fiberglass can crunch down,
Yeah, sure. It should have a core though here.
What?
I said it should have a wooden core though in it.
Bruises everywhere. And now Phillip's down in the hole, seeing what he can do. We started tag teaming it because my shoulder was killing me. Spot to reach. Thankfully, I got the nut threaded, like 2 fingers like that, threading. It's crazy. But we got the nut on there. We're just now trying to spin it up the post with Loctite on it. So now it's double nutted, and we hope that will really tighten this guy down. My shoulder's killing me. Pretty out there. Not a bad place to work. It was a pretty place to work. I mean, you really can't complain if you're not sitting at a desk. But that was what we dealt with on the way to Cuba. After that, we decided a quick fix without hauling out would be to make large fender washers, custom cut to fit around the rudder post. And that's what we did for our trip to Cuba. Nope, to the Bahamas. I get them mixed up. We're leaving that one in. And it even held in our biggest sea state, which was around Tampa, while we were crossing the Gulf this last December on our way to the Bahamas. But we knew when we hauled out this past summer and dropped the rudder, we wanted to really reinforce it right, the proper way, so it would hold fast permanently. So we started doing some research, and I'll let Phillip tell you what we found.
On the head, and there's a little plastic piece that sits here, and then it's just got this big cap that screws down with set screws, and that's what holds the rudder in the boat.
It actually
So
screws the rudder
literally
up.
the cockpit sole is what's underneath here holding it. And so when we were going to Cuba, this thing started shifting and thwartship a little bit.
Oh, it was not good.
So we were about 3 days out in the Gulf, and we were like, and he goes, is that rudder supposed to be moving left to right? And I'm like, yeah, that's
He's
how
like,
the
yeah,
rudder moves,
when you
or left
turn.
to
I was
right.
like, nope.
And she's like, no, like a thwartship. And I'm like,
You're like,
not
wait a
the
minute.
Post. So we got under there, and they had these little dinky, they're like 1/4 inch bolts, but then they got these little dinky washers, because that's all that the room there is.
Yeah.
So what we did is we tightened them up, and all the core felt good, but then what we did is we cut fender washers when we got back.
Yeah.
Bigger
And we
ones.
got them bigger and tightened it, and it seemed to do okay in the Bahamas and even out in the Gulf, but
This is our new fender washer.
a lot of people that have been, so a lot of people that have crossed the Atlantic or the Pacific in this boat, they've seen the same thing.
And I want to take a moment here to thank fellow Niagara 35 owner Larry Dickey, who shared a very extensive post on this. He saw the same movement in his rudder post on his way across the Atlantic to the Azores, and this was the fix he shared with the group, so it was something Phillip and I knew we wanted to do when we hauled out just underneath the cockpit floor.
But when we took this off this time, instead of it being a nice cut in the core through the deck, it was like a gap.
Where it wallowed it
No,
out.
it's
No, it
just
was
when they
just cut
originally
back.
cut it, they didn't cut it.
It wasn't even symmetrical.
Close enough.
It was
Close
kind of
enough.
like whopper jaw.
And so what was happening is you had a gap about like that, and so of course it was helping give a little wobble. So what we did is Brandon had the idea, again, just smart.
And I'll just say again, this is the reason we work side by side along with guys like Brandon to learn their perception of problems and how they see solutions. When Brandon saw the terrible hole that was cut in our cockpit floor by the manufacturer, this was his solution.
Put this upside down, so we had that gap, so what we did is we backfilled it with 610,
Yeah.
put Tef gel around this thing,
Yeah.
and we watched it set, we'd check it. Once it got like where it was firm enough, we dropped this out, and so then you had just the 610
Like a gasket.
like
Yeah,
a gasket.
yeah.
So now it'll keep it from going. And so what we'll do is when we put the rudder back up, of course we'll go back up here, and then in addition to filling that gap, now we'll have this huge backing plate underneath the deck.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then
To help
cockpit
spread all the
sole.
load.
Yeah.
So it'll spread.
Not
This thing, we
going
won't have
anywhere.
any
Not going
problems.
anywhere. Pretty cool, huh? Phillip and I are definitely confident what we've done with the rudder reinforcement is going to help our boat perform in big seas. But I did spare you the real monster of that job, and that was getting the quadrant off. We'll share that with you soon. But Video Annie's got a day one shipyard update for you. Hello. First day in the shipyard. We hauled out this morning, which was around 9 a.m. And Brandon was able to get us in on a Monday, so hopefully we can get everything done in 1 week, if not 2. They're working on the quadrant right now. I have tons of footage to show you. The quadrant has been a real big hindrance to getting the rudder out. It's like stuck on the post. No one doesn't want to let go after 5 years of hanging on there. We kind of like the rudder in the boat, so we're fine with that. But we've been working on the rudder mostly today, but we did get the elbow off, the manifest elbow, which Phillip with just the BFW, big wrench, pounded it off. But we got that off, so we started that. But we think they're banging on the rudder right now. The transmission key might be more of a coupling issue. So I'll have to film later. That's right. We have a couple and more things in store for you. Fun projects at the shipyard, which we will share with you over the course of the next few weeks. The quadrant work, swapping to a composting head, and repainting the engine. But mostly we hope you enjoy following along while we do what we love to do best, offshore sailing.